A familiar view if you watched the last video. This is exactly how it ended, and I'm picking it up right now. I'm gonna have 2 videos to edit tonight, plus some homework, plus like 3 cars, 2 bikes, and a house to work on. But I digress. Got a lot of stuff to do, busy schedule as always. The bobber is literally still sitting right here. This is about 8 seconds after I ended the last video. We're gonna work on the Fox body because I picked up some more Go Fast parts for it. Do I know how to install them? Not particularly, but we're gonna find out. Should be pretty straightforward, but of course we gotta get Duncan. So we're gonna take the Duncan Chariot V2, aka the Firebird, aka Big Floppy, and we are gonna go ahead and get some Duncan. And I gotta hit O'Reilly's because I don't think I have any intake manifold gaskets, and if I do, I lost them. So, oh yeah, I guess that kind of gives away what we're doing. Let's cold start the Firebird. How is that for a cold start? Got the car running. Muffler still leaks pretty bad. Just driving it, it's like opening itself up more, so I might have to weld it, but not bad. Let's go get some Duncan, and then, well, a new development makes it seem like I won't be working on the Mustang today, but tomorrow, but it's still this video, so yeah. Not that y'all can hear me, but I went ahead, there's 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there, and took off the thermostat, which is right there. Got the injectors and the injector harness off, kind of scattered around here, but now just have to take the intake manifold bolts off, and then at 2 p.m. I can go get my gaskets from O'Reilly. Gonna clean up the injectors and make them look a little bit better, clean them up, get the seals looking nice. If they look bad, I'll replace them, but I'm just running the injectors the car came with. I think they're 24 pound an hour injectors. I'll see if there's any numbers on them, but should be decent. I can't wait to get the Edelbrock on here because it's like a super high rise. May or may not fit under the hood, but if anyone's selling a nice cowl hood in gloss black for a Fox body, hit me up. All right, so there were just, bolts going all around, and then I was able to use a rubber mallet and flathead, pry it up. Intake manifold clearly off. Very simple process, by the way. So if anyone's ever scared of doing an intake, that took maybe 20 minutes. Granted, the car is pretty disassembled. It wouldn't take you much longer normally. Take a look at this one because I'm going to show you guys the upgraded Edelbrock intake, and well, let's pull it out and let's see. As you can see, got the old crusty intake right there, and boom, Edelbrock. As you can see, it's much taller, much cleaner, much more Edelbrocky. BBK regulator and gauge, which is cool. I have 2 sensors I gotta swap into this one. Just swap the PCV over, and I should be good to put this lower on as soon as those 2 lower gaskets come in. Yeah, let's make it happen. Unsure of how much dirt is on my face right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I did a little bit of work off camera, but let me show you the results. Bam! So, obviously the distributor's back in roughly where it should be. We got the Edelbrock upper, not on. There's like a few bolts just to hold it in place. I'm waiting on a new upper gasket that I'm likely going to put in. Got to hook up the injectors and the fuel rail, which should be easy enough. I have a few sensors and holes I got to fill in. I'm missing 1 bolt for the lower. I will show you where. Right in there. Not that you could see it, but there's 1 bolt not in there. A little unfortunate, but that's life. This thing sits super high up. There was originally a spacer that was on there. That is no longer the case. I didn't want to run the spacer because why would I? He only had it to fit the valve covers, but that looks super good under there. Looks way better than the old intake did, and it won't take much to get it running now. Realistically, trying to get it running in this video, I think all I need to do, hook up the fuel system, hook up the injectors and all that, plug in a lot of the harness. I have a few odds and ends with the intake manifold to fully sort out. I do have to hook up the cooling system and then do the front motor accessories. I got to put my the rest of my exhaust on because that has my O2 sensor. And then hypothetically speaking, and I got to do the spark and the starter. The starter needs, I don't want to say modification, but since it's a high torque mini, it does have to be wired in a bit different, but we should be able to get this thing running in this video. But today's Sunday. I don't know how much I'm going to be working on it throughout the rest of the week. I have, like I said, a very big thing in the works, hoping that goes well, but we will see in due time. I'll be honest, the weather looked a lot better like 5 minutes ago. I don't know if I ever filmed an intro for this video. I know we've been, of course, working on the Fox body. We're going to continue to do so. Last clip should have been the intake going on. Looks really good. We have to put one more bolt in, so I got to go buy that. I want to buy a whole new set of intake hardware because it'll look way better. That's down the line for now. Trying to get it running and driving because it's going to need to move soon. That's all I'm saying there. Again, don't know if I filmed an intro. If I didn't, this is it. If this is halfway through the video, then reintroducing the video. I was working today, had a big meeting at work that was scheduled. It got canceled, and I realized there's some PTO available, so I took that. It's not raining at the moment, but there's a 10% chance that it will. We're going to get this thing super finished, or at least do some good work to it. Let's go ahead. Let's just dive right into it. It looks like it's gonna rain, kinda. That 10% chance is looking pretty 10%-y. Alrighty, so fuel lines are down there. They're not hooked up yet, obviously. Getting the injector harness ready. Just kind of throwing it over there for now. Put the rail bolts in. Injectors are nice and seated. Everything should be clean under there. I did just pop this intake bolt off because I'm missing basically the same one on the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a new one from Lowe's, get some nice grade 8 hardware. The goal is to redo the hardware on this car. For now, I want to run it. I want to run it and I want it to drive, so that's the solution. We have our regulator and it is adjustable. Who knows what it's adjusted to, but it's adjusted to whatever it's adjusted to. Just plugged in the harness with the two main blocks right there. Don't know which side goes to which. We're gonna find out. All right, which side do we think is which? Generic ground strap that I haven't done yet. Don't know what those plug into. Oh, probably that. Without breaking the clip, which I may or may not have. Well, it'll come off now. You know, that's funny. It's funny. I'm just gonna say that it's funny and go with it. All right, made my quick run out. Got some new hardware for the intake. Pretty much the exact same bolt except galvanized. I might switch all the hardware to this, but for now I just wanted the one. And I also picked up some more heat shrink. Didn't know which size to get, but it was like $2, so got that because we have a broken wire here for one of the sensors. Gonna wire that in real quick, should be easy enough, but I didn't have heat shrink and I want it to look and be as proper as possible. So going to do that, gonna fix up that wire, start plugging in the rest of the harness, bolt down the intake the rest of the way here, and then start attacking the upper intake manifold, which has a very unique mounting process that I guess we're gonna learn how to do. Would you believe me if I told you that the bolt that I took out for reference so that I could get the new one in, I lost? Even though I have the new one, so the new one's now in, but I lost my reference bolt. I don't know where it went. I have no one to be upset at but myself. Found it. Another lovely day in paradise. Back at the Fox body. Gonna try and make it run today in this very video. Now, when I say make it run, that is a very, very, very loose description. It is going to run and I'm gonna rev it, whatever. Gotta hook up a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm probably not gonna have most of the front motor accessories on it, alternator, water pump, things like that. Initially, I just wanna hear it run. She hasn't done that in like almost 2 years now. I want to make it run, so I'm gonna try to make it run. Got a lot of stuff to hook up. Got to do the rest of the exhaust because that's my O2 sensor. Got to bolt up the drive shaft because I just should. It should be bolted up, but it takes 10 minutes. So got to wire in the starter because this is a high torque mini starter. If you guys remember the last video, requires a little bit of custom wiring, but nothing too bad. And then of course the spark system and the coil wire is in the Firebird over there because I didn't have a coil wire for that car, so it came out of the Fox body. So we got to do the coil wire from this, got to do the upper intake, I got to do my whole cold air system, which that filter is probably beyond shot, and I know there's rust inside of it, so a little bit of work there. We got some work ahead of us, let's just get to it. Slowly chipping away at the Fox body here, of course, drawing blood. That's just how it is working on cars like this, which would basically be any car ever. The ones with wheels, engines, things like that. So kind of a nightmare, but like a lot of little things. And then I did this one. This is a pretty slick move on my part. I dropped the coil and it broke. So $40 later, I have a new coil on the way. I'm going to be picking that up, whatever, in a couple hours. Once I get down, I'm gonna make that coil the last thing that I have to do. Currently just finishing up some ground straps, rewiring the thing for the starter, just switching some things around. Got my TPS on my new 70mm BBK Power Plus. So old TPS that should theoretically work is now on there. I just did the drive shaft, so I got new hardware that's bolted up. Next in the chopping block is we have to do the upper intake manifold, a few other random little plugs, got to put the exhaust up, a lot of ground straps, and then I'm gonna prime it with oil. I did change out the oil filter, so a nice new filter is on there. Obviously the car has no oil in it, so I have to put oil in it, and then I'm just gonna turn it with no fuel, get the oil circulating. This engine hasn't rotated in, whew, it's been a while, probably close to 2 years. So one of the O2s is questionable. I don't know if that needs to be connected to work, but I'm gonna put it up anyway, and then worst case I'll pull that back out. I do have some new hardware for this, so let's go get that and put the exhaust on. Well, it is time to go pick up some Fox body parts. I gotta get a coil and 2 exhaust hangers because I got the exhaust in. Let me show you guys real quick what we're working with. H-pipe, shorty headers, no cats, Flowmaster mufflers. You guys can see it. It's you know, it's an exhaust, nothing to write home about, 2.5-inch catless, but I have no hangers, so I'm gonna take the old daily driver to go get some. When I say daily driver, 7 miles per gallon and a hole in the floor. Little 2-step action for you. Okay, so the exhaust hangers are done. They're temporary, but they seem to work pretty decent. Again, temporary. Plug wires are completely shot. So that's now $300 in plug wires that I'll have purchased over the last 2 months. I hate my life there. Upper intake is slowly going on. Really? Like, what is that? Let me introduce you to the worst piece of hardware ever designed by a multi-billion-dollar company. Holly/Edelbrock, thank you for putting hardware. It's a stud that you have to get a nut on. Let me give you some size reference here. My hand, it doesn't, like, you can't do anything with this. So, gonna fight that for the next 2 hours. Yeah, I guess that's the next fight. Okay, no spark, no fuel. I have no idea if this is gonna turn over, but the coil wire's off. The fuel pump relay is currently not connected, so no fuel. I am going to be using the Firebird. I disconnected the Firebird terminals, so worst case scenario, I fry the battery, but I don't fry the sniper and that ECU, because obviously that wouldn't be fun. No battery in this car, so just running the jumper cables. Turn it over, try to build some oil pressure, because this engine hasn't run in forever, but I guess we're gonna see if any of this car will actually work. Got the key in, somewhat in neutral. I guess, well, yeah, I'm gonna jack the rear end up. So when I do go to start it, if the wheels spin, because I don't trust that transmission, or the shifter rather, but ground is not hooked up. Once I hook up ground, I think this door has a buzzer in it. May or may not be plugged in, so we might not know right away until I turn the key, but we're gonna know in a second. Probably a bad connection. Okay. All right, so fuel is in, the relay is in, the coil is on. I'm gonna key it up 2 or 3 times because obviously it's a pretty dry fuel system. Want to build some pressure, and I have a fuel pressure gauge, so we're gonna make sure that happens and it doesn't leak. All right, so it doesn't look like it's building a ton of fuel pressure or any at the moment. So just going to key it up a bunch until it builds pressure and hopefully holds it. I guess we'll see what happens. Adjusted the dizzy a little bit. I'm gonna sit back down in here. Maybe that does something, maybe it doesn't. Okay, dizzy adjustment number 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears the ignition switch finally gave out. Now it just spins. I think that might have been the issue, which is funny because I never messed with the ignition switch. That basically means it was just something that broke in between me fixing it and now. So it happens, things randomly break. It doesn't seem like it was anything I did. Just pop the battery back into the Firebird and I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna call it quits for today. I got it to turn over, it's mostly assembled. I do want to thank you guys for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you did like it, be sure to hit that like button. Next video, guaranteed the Fox body will run, but today, it seems like today is not the day for that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.